Hi, I'm Imogen Partridge and I help people and brands bring their stories to life through my intricately detailed watercolour illustrations. So I create house portraits, venue portraits, wedding stationery, all sorts of things for private clients, and I also elevate brands by bringing personality through my illustrated maps, building illustrations, interior illustrations, to add interest and bring a sense of character and story to the customers, and surprising and delighting customers, my customers and other people's, is something I really love to do. So what have I learned that's helped me grow my small business? Goodness, so many things. I would say the most important thing is actually mindset. It's about mindset. So I think that is the biggest stumbling block that people can come across, and particularly me. And I think learning that you can change how you think and how you feel about things is one of the biggest things that I have learned. It's not hugely practical, and I think that's why it's so powerful. I think it takes a lot of time to actually do that. And I think through a series of podcasts, books, reading, things that I listen to, speaking to people, it's slowly going in. There's nothing sort of practical and actionable necessarily that I do, but it's sort of small steps that over time seem to make a big difference, which is really, really valuable. I mean, I learn, most of what I learn about my business, I learn from just online, a lot of podcasts. I would say that's the number one thing. And there are so many brilliant free resources out there. I actually wrote a blog a little while ago about, I think it's something like 5 things about running a small this isn't very helpful, is it? I wrote a blog about it. I'm happy to put a link in below, but basically it talks about the things that I've learned since starting my business and that I wish I'd known sooner, and it includes some of the free resources that I've been talking about, which I think are really valuable, so if you'd like to check them out. And this is for the BT Small Business Boost, and the question is, if you won the £10,000 which they're offering, what ideas do you have for the future to help your small business grow further? I have so many ideas. I am sort of exploding with the ideas, so it's very much a case of putting some of that learning into action and looking at sort of my ideas in terms of what works now, sort of what they will do for my business and where they will take it. But one of the things that I would love to use that £10,000 for is actually investing in time a little bit. So one of the things I'd really like to do is set up an online course. I run workshops, and I'd really love to set up an online workshop so that I can reach more people. And I would love to develop a platform of kind of practicing online, being able to answer questions to sort of support that workshop, and any further workshops that I can come up with. But putting a workshop together and doing those sorts of things in the first place is quite time consuming, and at the moment I am fitting in sort of a lot of client work so that I can bring in enough money, etc., etc. So that would really help me invest in some time for that, and I think that would allow me to reach more people. It would take my business forward, and it would add another arm to my business. The workshops that I do run, people seem to really enjoy, and I have had some people from further afield who can't reach them asking about that. So that would be really lovely to be able to bring that. Another couple of things that I thought about was outsourcing. So things like admin, and they could actually, to be honest, the other two things kind of come together. So setting up some kind of CRM system to help me move things forward. So taking me away from some of the admin. So these are kind of, outsourcing some admin. So kind of setting up things like templates and things could be a really beneficial thing, but it might be that actually a lot of it I can do with a CRM system, and I just get some assistance every now and again to tweak that. But I've come to realize that I'm happy to do all of those things, and I have learned how to do all of those things, but it is one of the things that takes up a lot of my time, is doing those the admin side of the business, invoices, chasing up any invoices, kind of putting together quotes and things like that. And I mean, to an extent there's things that I do need to be involved with, but actually it would be being able to take some of that off my plate would be really, really helpful, and it would free me up to do sort of client work and paid work, and obviously develop things a little bit further. And then the final thing that I would use that investment for is on time. It is creating some more ranges in terms of my product. So I have a small range of prints and cards at the moment, which are based around some of my favourite buildings and small businesses in some local areas and places that I love to visit. And I would love to build this up a little bit further. They've been really, really well received, and people in those areas really like them. And I like that they're not based on, it's not London, for example. I mean, not that I would be opposed to doing anything in London, but it's just, it's focusing on things that might not be focused on usually. It's kind of taking inspiration from places that people have stories invested in and memories and things like that. And I've got quite a lot of ideas of products and things like that I could do, and I've been started to ask my audience about feedback and things like that. And things like capturing some wedding venues and then having the wedding venues either sell that themselves, or I provide it as something that people can use on their invitations or as part of their wedding day stationery on a kind of licensing basis. Building those elements up again is something that I feel would really help drive my business forward and allow me to kind of create more revenue without me having to sit down and do every single thing myself. But it's just, all of these things are finding a balance of time, and I feel like having the backing of a chunk of money to allow me to dedicate some time to getting some of these things set up would really take things forward. And yeah, I'd be really excited to win, and yeah, just let me know if you have any questions.